Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. I am welcoming you to Honest Inner Truth Conversations, and I am so excited. As people say to me, Vikki, you're always so excited. And yes, I'm always so excited because I'm surrounded by amazing people. And when you love what you do, the enthusiasm and the excitement just comes through. And people say to me, well, what is this Hit Talks conversation? What is this Honest Inner Truths conversations? And what it is, if you haven't heard of Hit Talks, which is the 8-minute show where there's 8 people speaking for 8 minutes each on 8 different perspectives on hope, inspiration, and transformation. A free live show every couple of weeks, broadcasted through Zoom and then also to YouTube as well. Please do join us because there are some amazing speakers all over the world that come and share hope, inspiration, and transformation purely from their heart. No intentions other than just serving and delivering 8 minutes of snippets of wisdom. And I have to say, I was putting together a chart of all the previous speakers today. And when I looked at it, my heart just melted with pure love. The amazing people and, the different types of people that really are being part of this, but really have the main intention of just really sharing hope, inspiration, and transformation. And it's great listening to their 8 minutes of wisdom. But then I was thinking, well, not really me thinking, I was actually guided to do a little bit more, because there is so much about these people that there's so much about them in service mode, about what they do in their life, what they do in business, what they do as philanthropists, that it's lovely to have a little bit of a conversation with them. And again, trying to be outside the box, instead of having 8-minute talks, Hit Talks, 8-minute talks. And instead of having interviews and podcasts, we're having conversations. So I'm really excited to invite the next guest that we have on this episode of Honest Inner Truths. And oh my gosh, when you see her, not only is she just beautiful, but she just oozes just love, service, and just, the word I'm going to say, amazingness from her heart. And I'll just tell you a little bit about her. We're going to have a conversation, but just a little bit about her. I asked her for a bio, and I loved it when the first 4 lines that she sent to me. And she says, I'm 48 years young. My passion is compassion and service. My true love is for animals, and my heart is my family. Oh my gosh. I'm going to say that again. 48 years young. My passion is compassion and service. My true love is for animals. My heart is my family. And, then we can go into the business side and what we do on a day-to-day side, which we'll talk about. But she's a senior level branded entertainment and marketing executive. She works with leadership. She works with in innovation. She's got track records in sponsorships for entertainment programs, working with Fortune 500 companies. She's a think tank entrepreneur, and she works with many platforms, marketing platforms, music platforms, so much. And if I just sat here and read everything that she's done, the whole conversation would be over. So I thought it'd be good for us to actually chat about it. So thank you so much for being part of Hit Conversations and for Hit Talks, Elena. Let's invite you all the way from Dominican Republic, because this is where you are, isn't it?
Dominican Republic, the beautiful, beautiful town of La Romana, in which one of the bigger and better and older golf resorts live. So I am in Rio Mar number 2, is the house number inside of Casa de Campo, which is, like I mentioned, one of the most beautiful resorts in the Caribbean. It's amazing. We're super blessed to have this home here for the past 17 years. And there's nothing but great energy here and great moments, both with family, for the people who need it the most here on the island, which are the children who are our future. And just super excited. Again, Vikki, every time I see you, every time I talk to you, every time I see a message from you, you bring me the best energy. You bring me happiness, a smile to my face. And that's really the kind of life and the kind of day we want to have every day. Thank you for having me. You're amazing. Amazing.
Sometimes I think I've got to stop using that word amazing, but you know,
No.
it is just amazing. So Dominican Republic, you're doing a little bit more over there anyway. Tell us a little bit about, you know, let's start with the love. Let's start with you talking about the children before we get on to the business side of Elena, because there's so much that, you know, I just want to sit and listen. But just tell us about the amazing things, the fantastic, the just inspirational things that you're doing as far as supporting children is concerned, because our viewers really, really do want to hear.
Yes, no, I actually, and I think I've said this before in the few times that I spoke to you and I spoke to your audience, and we invited a lot of people in our network. I still, at 48 years young, never, not that good at using the word I. For me, it's about what gets done with the family, with the network, the team at work. We have been coming here for almost 17 or 18 years. We started coming here because we used to produce one of the biggest festivals in the Caribbean, really, in Dominican Republic. It was, if you could think of Lollapalooza or Coachella, we started producing a festival like this back in '96. And so we would come here and produce a 3 to 4 day festival. You know, the team is awesome, but it's a lot of work. What do you do after you finish something like this? You stay on the island and you just relax. You take it all in. You debrief on what went right, what went wrong. And so after doing this over and over every 2 years since '96, you start loving the people, loving the country, loving the island, loving the food, loving the families, loving your staff, loving where you stay. We did not have this home for the entire time we were here, but we fell in love with the island and the people so much that in 2006 we built a home here. And so we still work on the island. We have families here. Most importantly, we found children on the island that looked lonely, dirty, hungry, abandoned. In these little towns, there's a lot of issues, starting with water, energy, love, homes, families. And so we decided, why not? Why not start helping these kids locally in this little town? Because again, if you think of Africa, if you think of every part of the world where you, Vikki, or me, Elena, or Joe Smith can help for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes, for 2 years, not just by writing a check or donating money. I think the biggest need here is a smile, a hug, an ear, and just being present and understanding what the needs are for each child, for each family, for the groups of people who do live here, who moved here from Italy and China and Taiwan, who are wanting to help these beautiful people. And so fast forward, we stay at our friends or artists' home who had been here for a long time, followed by, let's just build a house here, followed by, wait, look at all these kids in need. Look at these orphanages that need help and that need love, that need just a hand and a little bit of resources, common sense. And that's what we did. Of course, there's the beautiful ocean here. There's beautiful golf courses here. There's great food here. There are amazing people. And so we've built our community, our family our friends. We have brought, in the last 17 or 18 years, I think, don't quote me, we've brought hundreds and hundreds of people here, not just to enjoy the beautiful food and this view and the sun just all year round, but also come see the kids, come see the families, meet some amazing people, some amazing children that are the future, not just of these islands or in the Caribbean, but the future of the world. And so I'm here now for the next couple weeks. Of course, it's a lot of work throughout the day, but it's also some relaxing. It's talking to Vikki Thomas, doing a little bit of reflection and learning, just learning every day. We wake up, we go for a 5 mile run, or we climb the stairs down the street, or we take the bike and explore new places. A lot of our common friends, Vikki, have been here before. I actually met one of our common friends, our good friend Sanjeev and Amita Chopra, met them at the Miami airport, coming here to visit our first project for the Maestro Cares Foundation. Was visiting that project. My father was almost done designing and building the orphanage. And so we came on one of those every 3 months. We're coming in to check it out and check in. And I met Sanjeev on the airplane on a February, I won't forget, maybe 8 years ago, I want to say it was. And this is how you realize every day that there are no accidents, no coincidences. Everything is planned. Everything is written somewhere, depending on what you believe. It's written in a book. It's written in destiny, on the stars, as you said last time we spoke. And so that has spun into multiple friendships, multiple conversations, great network in a circle of love. This home, and maybe I can do a little bit of a tour in a little while. This is Tyson. Say hi, Tyson.
Hey.
Tyson is part of our Maestro Cares Foundation. We met him when he was very little, and he's now 19 years old and going to school, and we're looking for his future. But when we come here, he stays with us. So you will see a bunch of people walking around, and maybe Joanne will also walk around, and a lot of people that we have here.
Oh, it sounds amazing. Just so, and there's so much resonance because, when we have spoken about, everything is planned and guided, and, our journey is, kind of set. We do go off on different paths, but, we get back on track. But when you're saying, I feel it in every single cell of my body, because it's the same for me with St. Lucia. The first time that I went there it was only 3 years ago. But when you go to a country or you go to a place and the people are just so divine, all the people from the Caribbean islands, and they would give you their last slice of bread. And if they only had one slice of bread, they would give it to you. They invite you into their homes and, treat you like royalty. And but it's and there's no intentions there. So it's not, okay, I'm going to do that. What am I going to get in return? And it's just that pure love. And, when you just do, as you say, you spend time with them, you listen to them, you speak to them, you take people to their country and you talk about it. And sometimes, it's more than just giving money. And obviously, there's lots of other things that we do to support these countries, but it's just that feeling, isn't it? That feeling. And I resonate with you so much.
Look, I was born in Bogota, Colombia.
Yes.
I love my country. I love my people. I go back to the city 3-4 times a year to visit family, to visit friends. Unfortunately, my grandmother, who was one of the main reasons I would go back every year, multiple times every year, she's passed away. But now, my father is there. He lives on a little island, Santa Marta. but I'm Colombian. That doesn't mean that I can't come to the Dominican Republic and love the people and enjoy them and really explore the country. Um, my uncle William is here now. He just walked by. He's been here for 5, 6 months because different reasons. First, he was here helping me on some stuff, and then he said, "Why would I go in quarantine in a city as big as New York in Colombia, where you cannot step outside?" Because the rules and the way they're managing the pandemic is very, very strict. Here, maybe at the end of this chat, I can walk around and do a little bit of a Lisandra, say hello. Oh,
she's gone. So tell us a little bit about Maestro Cares then, for our viewers that don't know much about it. Obviously we're talking about you being in Colombia, sorry, in Dominican, because of the Maestro Cares and all the work that you're doing. So just share with us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So back, if you guys remember, I talked a little bit about the festival and our work here through music and production and in the music industry. This was one of the biggest and best countries to produce in because that field had been untapped. We had a beautiful, great sponsor who wanted to own the festival. So we were here, we got here. And Maestro Cares Foundation is almost 8 years old.
Wow.
But we started helping the children here and Colombia and Mexico more than a decade ago. As every human being tries to help, you go on vacation, you go down the street, you always donate, feed the homeless, give somebody your leftovers, and try to help the world. We were doing that every time we came here for work and then had a little R&R. We were always very concerned about the workers in our home who lived not more than a mile away, but were very, they needed resources, they needed food, they needed, someone to help reach out. And so we started doing that almost 12 years ago. Then we said, why don't we formally help, especially the kids, because we would visit the churches, the neighborhoods, and realize there's 2 or 3 orphanages less than a mile and a half away. And why haven't we been there? The lady who was our chef or cook at the house said, you guys appreciate your driving around and finding people in need, but why don't you go to the source where a lot of the efforts and the equity has been put in through the church, through people who come here, who have been here, who own homes here, and they've been helping. So we were taken to a girls' orphanage, about 120 girls, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And I just remember walking in and seeing 100 and something girls, beautiful, dressed up with their hair done. They knew we were coming, and they had a song and a choreography ready for us. They all had the same nail polish. They were so amazing. And again, think of the fact that we had been in the town, driving around both good, bad neighborhoods, and we were just trying to find the people who would need a basketball, a Barbie, a set of colors, some nail polish, hair stuff, food, lentils, rice, chicken, water, and just, pulling it out of our trunk and giving it to whoever we could find. Now, 5 years later, we actually had a place to go where we knew anything we brought, from a phone, a glass, a bottle of water, that we saw somebody where it was going, who was enjoying it, what the kids' names were, who was taking care of them, where did they start, how did they do it. And so that became a tradition, not only when we came to work and produce, but also because we fell so in love with the people here and everything here. We started coming more often, even just to advance a show or just to be and bring family and go to the beach and, take a vacation in a different place. And so that happened. We went to the girls' orphanage. We happened to notice that there weren't any boys around. So we said, so where are the boys? And they said, they're just down the street. There is less boys than girls. And so we want to be able to come show you where the boys are. 40 boys versus 120 girls right down the street. But because of the funding, the support from the local families, or not the local families, was scarce. You know, there were more girls, and girls need more attention and just more time. The boys ended up at again, a nice 40, 5-bedroom home where 40 boys were housed because they did not have another place to live. They didn't want to mix the boys and the girls, even though the age gap was, a little bit further. So we ended up at the boys' house, realized that we're living in 5 bedrooms on mattresses on the floor, not enough resources. The fridge didn't work. They didn't have lockers, the bathroom, and the systems in the house weren't working, including the lighting and the water. And so I went with Zaidi, Henry's daughter, and we realized, like, we have to do something. I know we've been here for years and years, but we've just been buying things and giving them to random kids on the street. And now we can actually dedicate time to come here to make sure these boys are okay. Who are these boys? Where did they come from? What's their story? How do we help each and every one of them in the right way? Who needs braces? Who needs hearing aids? Who needs education? Who's never been to a school before in their life? Who hasn't found their family? Where were they found? Were they brought and left here? And so the journey started, or continued, as I should say. The journey continued. We started paying a lot of attention, bringing our carpenter, our groundskeeper, the people who we were with, over to the boys' home, and make sure we were improving the conditions of the lockers, the showers. There were no showers, so we installed showers. The beds, the closets, the kitchen, the cook, the ingredients, the entrance. Ideally, we really wanted to get them out of there into a bigger place. Of course, since we work with different artists and different influencers and global icons, we said, why not? At that very moment, Marc Anthony happened to be on the island looking for a home and a place to be and a place to escape. And he had always heard us talk about the kids, the boys, the kids, the girls. He said, take me to the place that you're talking about. Take me to this girl's home, take me to this boy's home, and let's just go. It's Christmas time. Let's buy a bunch of toys. Let's bring them over. And so we did, and the rest is history. He came in, he saw the boys, he saw the girls, and he said, we have to do something. We have to activate people that I know will help. Let's call David Beckham and Jada Pinkett. Let's call my friends, and let's get these kids what they need. We were always in entertainment, in music, in production, never into philanthropy. But I believe every human being has a philanthropist inside their heart. Yes. Every single one of us. I don't care if you're a scientist, a chemist, a garbage person. Everybody has that philanthropist inside of them, because as humans, we have a default, and the default is compassion. It's caring, it's helping. Some people, it's show it on right on their sleeve. Their heart lives on the sleeve. Other people have to find it when they see the need, when they see the people. So here we are, 8 years later, and 22 projects in, starting with the Dominican Republic, moving on to Barranquilla, Colombia, 2 in Toluca, Mexico. Then we go to Peru, Guatemala, Puerto Rico. Each project's different, but they all focus on the kids, on their education, on their health, and how to make a better living for them. We do believe that the strongest weapon for this generation of children is education. And that obviously is a huge priority. And that's been our goal for the past, again, 12 years, formerly 8 years. And so there are different ways, of course, because we have to get creative. And so not only with the social media handles, but also our annual gala, which happens in New York every year in March, at the Cipriani, New York. And obviously this year was very, very tough for us because we could not have a gala in New York. And so that's it's been challenging, but has not stopped anyone from talking about the projects, from confirming new projects in Argentina, Chile, our Chicago project, because we are our headquarters is in Chicago, and Zaidi and her team run the foundation from Chicago. We thought through our partnership with SOS that we could build this amazing community center. And again, each project is different. They're not all orphanages. There are community centers. There are places where families and people and kids can actually go learn and understand the community, learn things that they wouldn't be able to or have access to in Chicago. So that would be our second U.S. project, because our first U.S. project is in Puerto Rico. But as I tell all the stories, I realize I could sit with Vikki for 3 hours to tell you about each and every single project, how Zaidi and Henry found every single project, what the process is, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, please know that we're doing as much as we can possibly do. We recently discovered 3D house printing.
Yes.
I think you've heard about this, and somebody on our 8-minute talk the other day talked a little bit about that. It is incredible when you bring technology and hearts together, anything is possible. And so more to come on that. November is our next big event where the Chicago Community Center, in our partnership with SOS, will be open and helping thousands and thousands of kids and their families, have a place to go after school, have a place to learn, have a place to be, have a place to enjoy, make friends. And not only for the kids, but for their families, for the moms to really understand banking, buying a car, buying a home, getting therapy. There are cooking classes. There are, every possible activity, including playing the violin and the guitar and the drums, will offer there. And it's a place for the families in the community to learn to become a better community.
And there's so much more of that needed all over the world, isn't it? Where people can actually live in harmony together. And as you're speaking, every single cell in my body, as I say, is vibrating. And I have love bumps on it, because there was many years ago. My background, just to go briefly, is in corporate. I used to value care homes. So my job in corporate was to go around the elderly care homes and look at their P&Ls and their occupancy and everything, and put a value on so the banks could lend. So literally, up to 10 million, the banks wanted to lend money. So I had to say, okay, this is worth this for the business, and this is worth this for the property, because property is my blood. And I saw so many things that I'd go into a room and the room would be empty, and I'd say, oh, so this room's empty. Oh no, Bill lives in here. And I was like, but there's no pictures. There's nobody comes to see him. His family doesn't want to see him. And there was so much more of this. And then when I left corporate and I started working more for myself, and then doing more entrepreneurial things and going across to do more of my spiritual development, the people used to say, what was your biggest vision and biggest dream? And I was saying, if anything, there's two things that I would like to do. And that is where I'd like to build, as you say, a community, but my vision is kind of similar.
Yeah.
Where the elderly are put together in a community with an orphanage. So they're put together because what's happened, especially here in the UK, and I think a lot of places all over the world, but when you're old, then you just get locked up, and they get put in front of the TV. And in ancient tradition, it was the elders that used to teach the infants. It was the elders that used to teach the orphans and the young, because they had all the wisdom. And all this, I can go through all the history of how things work, because I've studied so much of it, about how women became you know, downtrodden and all the rest of it. But you know, so what I, you know, the big thing that I just see all the time is that the wisdom of the elders are put into the youngsters, and the energy of the youngsters are put into the elders, because you put the life of the inner child and the fun of the children with the elders that have got no family, the children that have got no family. Bring
Yeah.
in work, bring in yoga, bring in tai chi, bring in organic gardens, you know, all of the holistic things that they don't have anymore, and let the youngsters support the elders, let the elders support the
Yeah.
youngsters. And there's just so much we can all do together. Everybody, as you say, there's philanthropy in absolutely every single person, and to have that vision,
Yes.
everyone's got some sort of vision, like we're talking about.
Absolutely. And I think everything you're talking about right now it brings me back to what my grandmother taught us every single day. She was 98, and her wisdom and her calmness on about everything was admirable, you know. And sometimes just being in the house with her, and you would think, my God, why is grandma saying that again? And then, you know, brings you to like the wise mind of this woman who was lived her life fully, but also lost two kids and gave up a lot of what, you know, she wanted, because for her kids, for her husband, for her family. She was one of 14 kids.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so two of her older sisters are alive, 99 and 101. And so I'm hoping that those genes will,
Ah.
I don't know, if, you know, if you're healthy and your mind is healthy, I think that's beautiful. But going back to, you know, what you leave behind, who you help, and not only who you help, but the people that are around you, your family, your friends, even random people you meet in your life, how they could be more involved in what you do, and how you can continue to tell a story about what you feel is important, how you're helping people, and how you can get other people to help these children who are vulnerable, scared, have no resources. And so that has been in my life, in my heart, for the past 12, 13, 14, 15 years, maybe even all my life, because I used to leave food when I was 6 by the outside of the garage in Colombia, in Bogota, for the homeless and for the soldiers who live down the street from our home. I think it's always been instilled in me. It's always been there, but it takes, for other people, it takes a little bit longer, right? Until they see and feel the need and see something drastic, that it hits them and say, you know what, I'm so blessed. I have 2 bottles of water. I'm going to give 1.5 away, right? And then I'm going to go get another bottle of water for me and my family. It's something that, you know, it's born in you, but I believe all of us have it in us. And it was never even a thought, really, until we formally did this, and you could see the specific kids, Junior, Joanne, Johan, Marcus, Tyson, who you just saw walk by, have success stories. They actually said, I want to be this. And we said, okay, we're going to help you get there. And whether it took a month or 5 years, here we are, and just seeing them grow as people with beautiful hearts, and most importantly, their willingness to help the younger kids that they grew up with, or kids from their community and their country, for me is the biggest reward.
It's a ripple effect, isn't it? It ripples, and that's the thing, because, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. So it's
a ripple effect.
Those blocks, and it's the mindset, and, you know, you've just got to think just through nature that you've got somebody that really believes in you. And the thing is that, I do this with my clients and, with children, but if you believe in people more than they believe in themselves, that's the key, isn't it? And so you believe in these children and you support these children, but again, to be there to listen to them. And
Yeah.
I go back to the elders as well, is that, believing in the elders and listening to the elders as well, because sometimes they just shut themselves down because they think, how many times have you heard an older person say, oh well, I'm just old and stupid, nobody wants to listen to me. And it's
the opposite.
Vibrational. It is, and it's vibrational. And a lot of the the energy work that we speak about is that it's encoded in us from 7 generations past. So it's very much about what we're going through now and what our parents went through and our great grandparents went through. It's the same for the children and the people that we're working with, because we don't know what they've gone through, but we can, you see them on the side of the road, for instance, or you see 15 of them sleeping in one room. You can imagine the trauma. And so as well as, believing in them and putting them on the track as well, I truly believe that working with the energy of these young children and these young adults and, shifting some of this, some of what's in there, because it's all in their subconscious. So the more and more, and the reason I'm loving this is because a lot of my community are energy healers. They're the shamans, they're, obviously the business side as well. Bear in mind that, I'm the bridge now from spending so much time in the business world and now in the spiritual world, that there is a bridge because it is a balance of both. But it's these people with all of these holistic gifts, which we all have the gifts, but sharing these gifts with these children. So yes, they can have the education. Yes, we can help them with their books and their shoes and their water and everything else, and we can believe in them. But we can also do so much more.
You agree that the physical and the material stuff is easy, right? The notebooks, the shoes, the clothes, whatever, that's the easy part. Yeah. But how do you give them hope, and how do you give them energy, and how do you wake up their inner
warrior?
Rock stars. I don't know what are the words.
Inner warrior. You've got it on your name. Look.
How do you wake up their inner rock stars? I mean, these kids are capable so much, and some of them know it, some of them don't. But at the end of the day, there's got to be something. There's got to be a shift. And I'm going to give you one thing I was thinking about this morning. It's July in the Caribbean. And I've never seen anything like this, and maybe because it's happened, but we weren't here. All of a sudden, at 6 o'clock in the morning, there are thousands, I'm talking thousands, clouds of black, brown butterflies with white dots. Wow. And so the people who lived here, who are from here, they say, that always happens in July, but it hasn't happened in 25 years. And so this year, no coincidence, pandemic, the world is upside down. We're going through what we're going through. All of a sudden, the butterflies came. And I can't explain it. You can't even open the door because they will all fly in. And they're beautiful. And we're eating outside in the gazebo, and they're on the food and on our shirts. And they're beautiful. They're not dangerous. They're not biting. But I feel like it's a phenomenon and something we shouldn't ignore. There's got to be a story behind the butterflies and what they bring and how we should interact with them. I don't want to sound.
It's a very powerful spirit animal, and I spoke about it on the last Honest Inner Truth conversation only on Monday. That you think about the story of the butterfly. The butterfly comes from a caterpillar, and and they're in their cocoon, and they've got to grow to get out of the cocoon. And there's a story about a man seeing this butterfly in a cocoon and wants to help him come out, so snips and tries to help this butterfly come out, and the butterfly falls to the floor and dies because he has to have his own journey. He has to get himself out of this cocoon himself for him to fly and for him to be free. And I speak about to a lot of women, you know, when you get this gut feeling and you're feeling a little bit tight inside and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling. And I say, just imagine that you've just got lots of little caterpillars inside your gut. And these caterpillars are, you're not good enough. You're an orphan. You'll never do any good. You know, nobody likes you. You're ugly. You're fat. All these little limited beliefs and unworthiness thoughts are little caterpillars inside your tummy, inside your soul, inside of you.
Yeah.
But then it's our job to work with these little caterpillars and then nurture them to become free, to be butterflies, and then they can spread their wings and fly.
I do feel that. There's the opposite of that in where I grew up. When you got butterflies in your tummy, is because you were going on stage or going through a nervous moment.
Yeah, they say that as well. Yeah.
But also, you know, the fear to fail gives you butterflies, or the excitement to succeed give you butterflies. And so I don't even know if this whole thing relates, but it's been incredible to be blessed enough to experience. It sounds silly maybe to some of our listeners to even talk about, you know, the animal energy that comes through butterflies, or your pets, or the small lizard who shows up under your chair. Some people scream at, other people grab it, you know. But I feel it's all related. It's all related to everything we're talking about, from elderly to children. What bridges that gap? What can we learn from our elderly? And what have we as philanthropists working with children in every age, from 1 year old, 3 to 5 to 7 to 11, in sickness, with different issues, with what they've been through for the past 10 years, what they remember about their parents, what they don't, if they were parents or not.
Because the first 7 years are the most important of anyone's childhood. They say, show me a child up to the age of 7, I'll tell you what man he is or what woman he is.
Exactly. And really, like, just the love that you can give. There's so much love in each one of us. I don't think that half the population understands how much they can give, how much they can really, just by one phone call, one hug, one smile. I have to say 99.9% of the children we help through the Maestro Cares Foundation are always smiling. And then you hear their story, what they've been through, and you're like, how are you still smiling? They don't know. They're just like in the moment. They just met you, Vikki. They met Sanjeev. They talked to Zaidi, and their world is perfect, right? Because they know that they have their back.
Yeah, they're grateful.
They're grateful. Yeah, and even us, you know, and I've always had my parents. My parents worked 14 hours a day. I've always been blessed to have enough food on the table and opportunity, and travel to the United States and all that. And I feel like humans take a lot of things for granted. We all take a lot of things for granted. Then you meet people, then you meet children that come to your life randomly through this foundation, or through being on the street or anywhere, just flying around the world working. You run into so many amazing children that I feel are old souls in little bodies.
Yeah.
I met so many old men and women in children bodies. Yeah.
They're here to teach us as well. That's the thing. They're definitely here to teach us. So it's just I'm sure that everybody that is listening to this, either live or on the replay, are actually feeling feeling the energy. But even if it's given some sort of hope, inspiration into their minds to say, okay, how am I going to be help the person in my area? They just go and speak to a stranger, go and speak to, an elder. We have to be careful if we go and speak to children, obviously, but there's ways of doing things. So with Maestro Cares, and if people wanted to get involved in supporting you, how do they find you? What do they, is there any page you can send them to, or any support that, people that are listening think, I'd love to be able to get involved in this. I'd love to support it. just share with us how they can find you. And
that would be awesome. And honestly, we're looking for just people to learn about the foundation, and whether it's $1 or some swag or a like on Facebook or follow us on Instagram. It's www.maestrocares.org. And on Instagram is hashtag Maestro Cares, Maestro Cares, MAESTROCAR.
we'll put all the links into the
Okay, perfect. It's just so easy, just because there are so many ways to get involved, and a beautiful excuse to get out of the country and come learn, come enjoy, come meet some amazing children anywhere. If you ever have a bucket list, and the bucket list says Dominican Republic, it says Mexico, it says Colombia, Puerto Rico, Ecuador, Peru, even if you're in the backyard of Chicago, we are opening the doors to our community center along with SOS in November. So we're super excited. And that's it, really getting involved on following and liking, and then learning a little bit more about the program is amazing. We still plan on doing our gala in March. Most importantly, we are helping children from around the world, but we're also helping the people who are helping. We're helping them finally be able to find a place to give and feel good about it, and not just through a computer or a phone or a check in the mail. We want everyone to experience and share time with these amazing people who will become part of your life for the rest of your life. When you help Junior or Tyson or Joanne or Mark or Fred, you are gonna forever have an opportunity to tell that story and to be proud about it and to continue the legacy. We're so super excited about that. And so I was so excited because we were able to do, Vikki and I were able to do this from complete opposite sides of the world.
I know. That's the thing. This thing is, there's benefits in lockdown, because I wouldn't be sat here at home, and maybe all the different things that are going on and things. So the HIT Talks wouldn't have been created if it wasn't for lockdown, and everything happens for a reason. So I know that you are going to be inundated with messages. I'm going to put all your details down into the link, and then when we put this onto YouTube. So thank you so much for being with us, and you're doing amazing things in the world, so continue doing that.
Thank you. I just have one more story to share. My car broke down on the corner of California and Roosevelt Road in Chicago, because I was visiting our community center in Chicago, not that far from there. But so I said, I'm just going to call the AAA, etc. The guy came, he parked around the corner. I had to walk to the alley in a not such a good neighborhood in Chicago. Once you hit the south side, it's a little bit, you have to be careful during pandemic or any time. And I realized I was standing at the door of a safe haven, which is a home that houses 400 homeless people a day. And they live there for 3 to 6 months. And then I realized there was children outside of a safe haven home giving rides or crossing the homeless across the street to help them. And I said to myself, like, what are the chances that I would end up here the same day that I visited like our community center on Roosevelt Road, on the same day that I'm getting ready to go to Dominican Republic. And it was just amazing. I just always want to connect the dots and figure out, why are we here every single day? What is our purpose? And we've all said, my purpose is this, but I feel, and Dr. Chopra and Amita, if you guys are watching, I feel like our purpose is ever changing. It's never one purpose, it's ever changing. And we find pieces to that purpose every single day, and we have to act on it. So, and that's how I live my life. Whatever people need is what I'm going to give. Hey, Eric. And that's what it is. Take the back off my shirt and just give it all, because I know it will come back triple. And as long as we're helping someone, saving someone's life, or making someone smile every day, that's it. Don't need anything else.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Don't need anything else.
And that's the thing, you know, there's no such thing as coincidence. It's just synchronicity. So now when you meditate on it and you spend some quiet time on it, whether or not it's today, whether or not it's next week, whether or not it's 3 months' time, you know, the answers will all come together, and then you'll say, oh my gosh, I remember that. And that is why. And yeah, that's the power of believing.
I know this happens to you all the time. Well, now you're like a pro at it, but every day you're like, oh, that's why that happened. And you think about it later, but now a lot of those things happen in the moment, and you realize it in the moment. Like, what's the date today? What happened 2 years ago today that puts us in certain circumstances? And you are the master of understanding the light and the crystals, and why I'm a rookie learning from you every day on every single one of your talks, or the people that you bring into these amazing hit talks. And that's why I share so much of it on a personal level with my family, with my friends, with my kids, and the people around me. It's incredible, because when you find the magic, it's addicting. And I haven't even found 5% of it.
Well, it's all a journey. It really is all.
It's a journey. Yeah,
it's awareness that is key. So absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for being with us. And it's honestly, it's just been it's been inspirational. Absolutely inspirational.
Vikki.
Oh, right. Yes, absolutely fantastic. And we're going to put all this deal in my care and Elena as well. And it says any part of you that wants to be part of giving. It says any part of you that wants to do it. It's maybe there's just something to listen to support, and you think, I'd like to know more, whatever it is. And it's through this place, because you are like the next generation. And the one thing that I feel is very clear, and you said is that you are a person of mission, of dreams, you get forever evolving and changing, because the people that you're making apart, they truly believe that the divine already knows what it is anyway. And I feel sometimes dangerous for the divine, because you feel they're laughing. I said, "Oh, look, she just found another pebble on the path, and then she's going to pick that up, and she's going to move on, or she or he move on to the next one." For us to keep learning, keep being aware, keep having our minds, our hearts, and our souls open when we meet people. Obviously, be protective. I do wrap myself in a 12th dimensional shield to make sure that the people in my field are the right people. But just go through your journey of life, go through your journey of business, of the intentions of being aware, the intentions of giving, the intentions of supporting, and the intentions of spreading a little bit of hope, spreading a little bit of inspiration, and spreading a little bit of transformation, because it doesn't stop. We all have to live, we all have to we all have to and share those share those share that share the inspiration, and share the transformation. And do things in the next 6 years. The people in below, doing some amazing things in the local world. Given their time, 8 minutes, 8 speakers, 8 perspectives, 8 inspirations. So, great to see you again next Monday.